Why stop with us when you can also listen to Ron Hart, syndicated columnist, libertarian, humorist, and author? Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Well, listen, you jump in here. Top highlight, top low light for 2009. What do you think?
I agree with you on the health care bill. They kind of got the two things out of it that I wanted to see. The death panels, as they call it, they're sensible end-of-life advice and sensible spending is something they gutted, and that and abortion. I happen to be pro-choice. So the two things they really needed to do, unfortunately, they got out of it, and what they left was a big expensive health care bill. So I differ a little bit on this than you guys, but I agree with you fully on those two issues.
Okay, so that's the low light. We actually all agree that the death of a certain kind of honesty and transparency is a very serious problem that doesn't serve any of us well. How about highlights? Let's go high. What made you happy this year?
What happened well? Let's see. I can't think of any. Tiger had a good year. What happened to Tiger?
Yes, that's a celebrity low light. I mean, that was bad.
Light, yeah. And maybe if they get divorced and Elon's single, maybe then again they can rekindle their sex life.
Because he likes single women.
Yeah,
blonde,
exactly.
Right, blonde, big-breasted women. Actually, that's his wife, but he's not good he's just not good with the married type.
Yeah, if you have to pay a lot of money to have sex, then maybe he'll kind of dig that.
Well, he's paying a lot of money now.
This is going to cost him plenty. I think whatever you think about Tiger, the cost of this is going to be greater than he ever imagined.
Oh, exactly. And I say in the last column that it's really a tribute to capitalism. I know you guys may not be as big on capitalism as I am, but I tell you what, who acted the quickest and with the most severe consequences was his sponsors. You know, I mean, everybody else kind of wrung their hands. Oh, this is awful, and the religious right, which I abhor, said this, and then there's some moral atrocity, and then the left kind of does their dance. But who spoke quickly with him? Accenture. Gillette. I mean, they spoke very quickly, and it taught people a lesson.
Well, you got to figure those folks at Accenture really are regretting that whole "be a tiger" thing. I mean, that's not looking so good right now.
What about just do it? Just do it. What about awkward moments? I was thinking about that this morning. Kanye West doesn't let Taylor Swift finish. That was a kind of awkward moment. The Balloon Boy. That was a kind of weird moment this year.
Both unnecessary. Kanye West, my kids go to something called Bonnaroo here in Tennessee. It's an outdoor concert. Kanye is an accomplished jerk. I mean, no doubt about it. He crosses all racial boundaries, all political boundaries. The guy is a high grade, as Obama said, ass. And he's right about that. I think Obama's approval rating went up 5 points when he called him a jerk. So I mean, the guy really is. And Kanye West, I mean, it's not the wall that separates, East from West Germany. it's a real egotistical, sad guy who, and poor Taylor Swift. I mean, she seems like a reasonable person that didn't deserve that.
Right. What about Mark Sanford and the governing crisis and the mea culpa and that? What do you think about that?
The Republicans got bigger problems with sex as the Democrats have. I mean, actually, it kind of resonates and rings louder when a right-wing Republican is against gay marriage, and I'm actually for gay marriage. Comes out and says all these right-wing Bible things, and then he's out there hiking the Appalachian Trail.
Maybe there's a highlight in there then, because maybe the highlight on this one is we actually are going to finally start admitting that sex is not a right-wing or a left-wing thing, and that everyone has problems with it, and everyone also does okay with it. Just depends on when. No, I really mean it. It would be really interesting if after this year we would agree, okay, moving forward, here's what we're not going to do. Since everyone seems to get into trouble with this. Not every person, but every ideology gets into trouble with their own sexual misdeeds and antics. Maybe actually in 2010, because we know there'll still be sex scandals, we won't politicize them as much. Because the one thing that's common to all of them, I cannot think of how America got better by politicizing the sexual foibles of anyone, be they Democrat or Republican. And I challenge anyone to give me an example of when talking about what went on in someone's bedroom actually led to better public policy.
I said in the column recently, if you look at history, starting from the Founding Fathers forward, read about Ben Franklin. Good Lord.
Yeah, right.
He was a busy man.
Thomas Jefferson. You go any major figure. If you truly read their biography, not the 8th grade civics class biographies, but the real biographies, where they really actually do some checking. Everybody's got vulnerabilities.
All the way back to King David.
Larry Craig. You got Reverend Ted Haggard. Remember Reverend Ted?
Yeah,
Yes.
sure. I think another memory this year is Michael Jackson's death.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
it's tragic.
big.
Yeah, he could have seen that coming. I tell you what, it's something about medical care. He's got his own personal doctor, and he still dies at 50. Right?
Yeah, yeah. That wasn't included in the health plan debate.
Yeah, I want to die. I want to die like Michael Jackson and Elvis. And they said, "Wait, you want to die like drugs and sad death?" No, I want to die with a gift shop very near my tomb.
That's one way to go out. That's one way to go out.
What about Palin? I think that's another big story. I mean,
That story, I think, is
it's
still
an
being
interesting
written.
story.
And that's what's interesting about that one. I think the Palin story isn't over. And I think
definitely not.
and I think that how it's going to unfold, it could unfold ugly and shameful and embarrassing. Not to pull any punches, and it could unfold as a kind of political triumph. Though I have to admit, I see door number one a lot more clearly than door number two at this point.
Agreed. I'm like the majority of males in America. I don't want to see her in the White House, but I would like to see her splayed across a Ford 150 truck in a Toby Keith video.
But how do you really feel? Oh my God! I'm not sure we can stay on the air with stuff like that.
With Levy Johnson taking the pictures.
Exactly. I mean, she's very pretty. I went to the GOP convention with this little nickel and dime column I write. I got to go to both conventions, and I saw her up close to the party. She's beautiful. I mean, she's absolutely beautiful, but she believes Jonah lived 3 days in the belly of the whale and came out and wrote about it.
And go figure, you don't think that's a qualification for president.
That's
that's
great.
another conversation. Listen, Ron Hart, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
We'll be back talking about other issues, a little more serious.
And Happy New
Who's
Year.
going to be the next saint to come out of the Catholic Church? That's also a year-end issue. I'm Brad Hirschfield.
I'm Rowan Kula.
And we'll be back right after this.